Alright everybody, it's Yusuf and my sleeping dog Rusty at 4 in the morning for Dad's Freetime game reviews, where I review the games that I play when no one needs me. This time we're reviewing Lupin III, Treasure of the Sorcerer King. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I really love Lupin III, one of my favorite characters in comic books and in TV. I used to watch the Lupin III stuff all the time on Adult Swim, and I found out that there's like a billion movies and a couple of series that went past Lupin III on the TV. So I figured a while ago, why not just go ahead and get the game if I like Lupin III so much. Now, Lupin III is a master criminal who's a direct descendant from Arsène Lupin, another criminal from a French novel. Except somehow he became Japanese French or something like that. While I actually like the movies, I tried to watch the movies with my wife, and my wife pretty much started to drift off a little bit, and I understand why. The Lupin plot in all of his movies and all of his TV shows are pretty much exactly the same. He tries to steal something. Once he steals something, it turns out that it's the key to something else, kind of like Tomb Raider. So he takes that thing, and then he goes to a different thing, and then he uses it for a bigger treasure. And sometimes he gets the treasure, and sometimes he doesn't. And in the middle, there's always a bad guy who's trying to stop Lupin. Maybe because he works for the police, or maybe because he's looking for the same treasure. Maybe because it's somebody that knew Lupin from a long time ago, right? Well, I'm sorry to say that this game follows that exact same plot. The same voice cast came to the game, and they blessed us with their voices, which was great. But one of my pet peeves is having a problem controlling the camera, and you know, I'm not even that stiff on it, but this thing was mean. Camera controls weren't wonky, it was just a regular spin around camera, but it just wouldn't let you spin in any dark corridors, stuff like that. There's a lot of times I was having problems with boss fights or fights with people that I had to shoot because I couldn't spin the camera around at all. It just wouldn't let me. Now, on top of that, the camera directions were inverse, and I can't deal with that because I like to direct the camera with my character. So if my character's going left, I push forward and then move the camera left, and the character goes with the camera. That's usually the way I do it. Also, another pet peeve of mine is when you can't remap the controls. Like, if the controls are not to your liking, you should be able to go into the options screen and remap your buttons. This game wouldn't let me do that, so already the game was frustrating. Now, at first the game appeared to be a stealth game in which you would hide behind things, and then you would get uniforms and wear the uniforms and then fool the other people into believing that you are part of the guards. Then every different area you went into, you'd have to change your guard uniform and fool people. But once you did that, you lost your ability to radar the people. So I would have a map that I could see the bad guys in, and then I wouldn't be able to use the map once I changed my uniform because it was replaced by some sort of heart monitor that would dictate whether or not I'm calm. Now, if you fooled the people into believing that you were a guard, you have an opportunity to steal from them. And then you can steal a lot of items, but none of them get to be used, so what's the point? And I stole some useful items. There was one time I stole a lockpick, and I couldn't use a lockpick. But I'm Lupin III, the master criminal. I couldn't use a lockpick? Come on. Just keeping all these items for no reason at all. Another pet peeve I had was that I had a real hard time trying to navigate through the map because the map on the menu screen showed a map in its totality, but it wouldn't really show which direction you're facing. And everything in the game was very similar, so it was very difficult to tell which way was up, which way was down. And your map on the regular heads-up display, the HUD, was not showing you where north was. They were just very minor details that anybody who makes games would get. I mean, I don't believe this game is that old. 2004, that's plenty of time to figure out what to do. Now, after a while playing with all the uniforms and then trying to dupe people into believing I'm this person and that person, whatever, I found that it was probably just easier to run right past everybody before they noticed I was Lupin the Third. There was a small pause for everybody when they see you. But the rooms were so small you could just run right by them and into another room and it wouldn't even affect your radar. The gameplay controls were really wonky too. Coupled with the bad camera, when you try to do a first-person view on your shooting, the reticle basically covered up the gun. So once you started firing with the gun, you basically couldn't see what you were aiming at, and that made it really irritating. Especially on the last boss fights. Also, they let you play as Goemon and Jigen in a few sections. I played as Jigen, and Jigen can hold his gun out the whole time, and he can shoot people. It was pretty cool. He played better than anybody else in the game, and I was actually so surprised about it, I couldn't figure out how to play him first. And I tried to do Goemon, who is a master swordsman. He doesn't even swing his sword, he just kind of pulls it out for half a second. Now maybe I was doing something wrong there, but there was no tutorial to let me know how I'm supposed to do stuff. Anyway, I appreciate what they're trying to do a little later in the game. I mean, first it started off with stealth, then later it was you just playing the game like an adventure game. But the controls for Lupin were so bad, it didn't even matter what they tried to do. I was actually kind of disappointed. I mean, I finished the game like I was supposed to, but I probably would have rather watched a movie. Although it was pretty fun playing as Lupin the Third, I would have appreciated it much, much more if you had more control and more animation for Lupin. Anyway, that's pretty much my review. Don't get the game. It's not it's not fun. Watch Lupin the Third. You know, enjoy Lupin the Third, but just don't play this game. It sucks. I'm a complete fanboy of Lupin the Third, and this game dragged me out of my fanboy life into a life of sadness and depression, which I'm playing it until 4 in the morning and then doing a review. So anyway, go ahead and like and subscribe. Whoop-de-whoop, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day. Bye.